Today, I want to deal with a topic that might be deemed controversial. But controversial or not, I want you to pay close attention to this video production, and I would accommodate all comments and feel free to comment. I'm dealing with Mother's Day, and the question is, what are we really talking about? We can find scriptural texts to support the idea of Mother's Day. Exodus 20:12 tells us, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God give thee. Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 16 says, honor thy father and thy mother as the Lord thy God had commanded thee, that thy days may be prolonged, and that it may go well with thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Matthew chapter 15, verse 4 says, for God commanded, saying, honor thy father and mother, and he that curseth father or mother, let him die the death. Matthew 19:19 says, honor thy father and thy mother, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. And Luke 18:20 says, thou knowest the commandments. Do not commit adultery, do not kill, do not steal, do not bear false witness, honor thy father and thy mother. And Ephesians 6:2 says, honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise. So we see that we were told, or we have been encouraged to honor our parents. So we can justify the whole concept of honoring our mothers on Mother's Day. However, we must note honor means a lot of things. Honor means appreciate, respect. In local parlance, we say big up, right? Treat your parents well, right? Show that sort of concern and appreciation. Award your mother. These are some of the connotations that one can have when we're speaking about honor your mother. We need to look at where this started. Very important info about Mother's Day. Let's just look at a brief history. Celebration of mothers and motherhood can be traced back to the ancient Greeks and Romans, who held festivals in honor of their mother goddesses Rhea and Cybele. But the clearest modern precedent for Mother's Day is in the early Christian festival known as the Mothering Sunday. Once a major tradition in the United Kingdom and parts of Europe, this celebration fell on the fourth Sunday in Lent and was originally seen as a time when the faithful would return to their mother church, the main church in the vicinity of their home, for a special service. Over time, the Mothering Sunday tradition shifted into a more secular holiday, and children would present their mothers with flowers and other tokens of appreciation. This custom eventually faded in popularity before merging with the American Mother's Day in the 1930s and 40s. Very interesting. Please note, let's see what happened subsequently. We see the origins of Mother's Day as celebrated in the United States date back to the 19th century, in the years before the Civil War. Anne Reeves Jarvis of West Virginia helped start Mother's Day work clubs to teach local women how to properly care for their children. Note, these clubs later became a unifying force in a region of the country still divided over the Civil War. In 1868, Jarvis organized Mothers' Friendship Day, at which mothers gathered with former Union and Confederate soldiers to promote reconciliation. Note also, another precursor to Mother's Day came from the abolitionist and suffragette Julia Ward Howe. In 1870, Howe wrote the Mother's Day Proclamation, a call to action that asks mothers to unite in promoting world peace. In 1873, Howe campaigned for a Mother's Peace Day to be celebrated every June 2nd. Very interesting. Now let's go on a little further and see how Anna Jarvis turns Mother's Day into a national holiday. The official Mother's Day holiday arose in the 1900s as a result of the efforts of Anna Jarvis. Now, she is the daughter of Anne Reeves Jarvis. We heard that name before. Following her mother's 1904 death, Anna Jarvis conceived of Mother's Day as a way of honoring the sacrifices mothers made for their children. After gaining financial backing from a Philadelphia department store owner named John Wanamaker, in May 1908, she organized the first Mother's Day celebration at a Methodist church in Grafton, West Virginia. That same day also saw thousands of people attend a Mother's Day event at one of Wanamaker's retail stores in Philadelphia. Following the success of her first Mother's Day, Jarvis, who remained unmarried and childless her whole life, resolved to see her holiday added to the national calendar, arguing that American holidays were biased towards male achievement. She started a massive letter writing campaign to newspapers and prominent politicians, urging the adoption of a special day honoring motherhood. By 1912, many states, towns, and churches had adopted Mother's Day as an annual holiday, and Jarvis had established the Mother's Day International Association to help promote her cause. Her persistence paid off in 1914 when President Woodrow Wilson signed a measure officially establishing the second Sunday in May as Mother's Day. It is important that we note the background into this thing. But it is also important to note why the founder of Mother's Day turned against it. Anna Jarvis had originally conceived of Mother's Day as a day of personal celebration between mothers and families. Her version of the day involved wearing a white carnation as a badge and visiting one's mother or attending church services. But once Mother's Day became a national holiday, it was not long before florists, card companies, and other merchants capitalized on its popularity. While Jarvis had initially worked with the floral industry to help raise Mother's Day profile, by 1920 she had become disgusted with how the holiday had been commercialized. She outwardly denounced the transformation and urged people to stop buying Mother's Day flowers, cards, and candies. Jarvis eventually resorted to an open campaign against Mother's Day profiteers, speaking out against confectioners, florists, and even charities. She also launched countless lawsuits against groups that had used the name Mother's Day, eventually spending most of her personal wealth in legal fees. By the time of her death in 1948, Jarvis had disowned the holiday altogether and even actively lobbied the government to see it removed from the calendar of events. Wow, wow, wow. Now, here is a woman who fought for the holiday, recognizing where the holiday was going and what became of what was her noble ideal being turned into something that she never conceived. So, taking all to consideration all that you would have heard said before, the question that we need to ask What will you do? Will you continue in the tradition, or will you stop the tradition and instead treat every day as Mother's Day? This is a question posited to each and every one. I would generally like to say that as much as I admire the tradition, we have come to make this a tradition, in my mind, which has lost its significance. I'm saying this because it has become highly commercialized. It has become a situation whereby mothers, in many cases, are neglected throughout the year. But on that day, they focus, and I dare say the pretense, I'm using my own words, no one has to agree with me, is there that you are so interested in mothers because the world is doing it. I'm going to speak about things that I know, especially among people who belong to churches, etc. During the year, in some places, some folks would never take the opportunity to call a mother within their church. They never take the opportunity to visit that mother within their church, well, even outside of the church as well. They would probably, in some cases, not even offer a ride to that mother to go and get some groceries. Well, okay, grocery might be extreme, but even coming from church or to church, they would never find the opportunity to ask that mother, would you like to have a ride to go to church? But come that Sunday, it would be said, oh, we love mothers so much that we want to have a big feast for them. We want to take them out somewhere and so on. What of the other days of the year? Isn't that person still a mother? No, this is me. This is how I see it. I don't want you to agree, but I want you to consider. And please feel free to comment. I want to have the comment. Answer the question. Are we going to continue in the tradition, or are we going to stop the tradition and instead treat every day as Mother's Day? I rest my case and leave it to you to respond accordingly. And I welcome comment left, right, and center in your face. Talk to me and be honest. Be honest. Be honest. That's all I'm asking. Be honest. Whatever your response is, I will appreciate and I would respond accordingly. Thanks so much as we get involved in this important, because this is a social as well as a religious issue, and we must be honest about it.